Book review: Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaghy. Charlotte McConaghy, acclaimed for her lyrical and environmentally conscious storytelling, returns with Wild Dark Shore, the haunting and poignant follow-up to her international bestseller Migrations. Set once again in a near-future world grappling with ecological collapse, Wild Dark Shore deepens McConaghy's thematic exploration of grief, resilience, and our inextricable connection to the natural world. This novel, while quieter and more introspective than its predecessor, nonetheless delivers profound emotional impact, driven by rich prose, layered characters, and an urgent call to care for the earth before it is too late. Plot summary: Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaghy is a hauntingly beautiful, emotionally charged novel that follows the story of a young woman named McKenna Jones who lives in a future Australia devastated by climate collapse and ecological ruin. The novel, like McConaghy's acclaimed works Migrations and Once There Were Wolves, blends lyrical prose with environmental themes and a deep examination of human connection, grief, and resilience. McKenna, a solitary marine biologist, is haunted by the disappearance of her sister Talia, who vanished a year prior while working on a dangerous ocean conservation project. The sisters shared a close bond, having grown up in a fractured family shadowed by trauma and the loss of their mother. Talia's disappearance has left McKenna untethered, unable to move on and struggling to navigate world collapsing under the weight of environmental degradation and neglect. Driven by a mix of guilt and determination, McKenna sets out on a journey to uncover the truth behind her sister's disappearance. She returns to the remote, storm-battered Tasman Sea Islands where Talia was last seen. These islands, once teeming with seabird colonies and marine life, have been rendered nearly lifeless by rising seas, plastic pollution, and overfishing. But there are rumors, whispers of secret scientific project of people trying to rewild, oceans of resistance and hope flickering in the dark. On the island, McKenna discovers an enigmatic and isolated community of scientists and activists led by a reclusive woman named Kira who knew Talia and claims to have worked with her. Kira is both magnetic and unsettling, and the project she leads is radical as it is perilous. They are using illegal methods, including genetic manipulation and rogue technology, to try to resurrect extinct species and rebuild marine ecosystems. Talia was an integral part of this work, and she might not have disappeared by accident. As McKenna delves deeper, she finds herself pulled into the group's mission, even as her skepticism and grief hold her back. She confronts moral ambiguities, environment, desperation, and the limits of what one person can, or should, due to save dying world. Her journey becomes both external and internal. She must face the secrets she kept from her sister, the truths she avoids about her own past, and the looming possibility that Talia is gone for good. The landscape plays a powerful role in the narrative, evoking both the brutal majesty and fragile vulnerability of nature. McConaghy's prose brings to life the wildness of the ocean, the eerie emptiness of the depleted islands, and the raw beauty of threatened life forms. The natural world is both antagonist and victim character in its own right that mirrors McKenna's emotional state. As the novel builds to its climax, McKenna must make choice: abandon the cause, return to life of safety and numbness, or risk everything to continue her sister's work. In the end, she chooses to stay. Not out of certainty, but out of love and belief in the possibility of renewal. In doing so, she finds measure of peace, a new kind of family in the people and creatures around her. Wild Dark Shore is a meditation on loss, the ethics of intervention, and the profound impact of human beings on the planet. It asks what we owe to the earth and to one another, and whether redemption is possible in a world we've pushed to the brink. Through McKenna's painful, poignant journey, McConaghy explores how grief can transform into purpose and how the act of trying, despite the odds, can be its own kind of hope. The novel ends on a note that is hopeless nor entirely triumphant. Instead, it offers quiet resilience, belief that even in a world gone wild and dark, there are still shores worth reaching and still lives worth saving. A new protagonist, a shared world unlike Migrations, which followed the restless, enigmatic Franny Stonecross. A dying world in search of the last Arctic turns. Wild Dark Shore introduces readers to a new protagonist, Inti Flynn, a fierce and passionate woman with a deep bond to wolves. Inti is tasked with leading a controversial rewilding project in the Scottish Highlands where a small pack of grey wolves is to be reintroduced into the landscape. Her mission is both ecological and deeply personal, a last-ditch attempt to restore balance to a place and perhaps to herself. What distinguishes Inti from Franny is her complex relationship with violence and tenderness with humanity and wilderness. Whereas Franny's narrative was shaped by flight and loss, Inti's is rooted in confrontation. Facing community that resists her work past, she has tried to bury in twin sister Aggie, who is but psychologically withdrawn. Through Inti McConaghy crafts character of immense strength and sensitivity, torn between instinct and reason, science and spirit. Language's landscape. McConaghy's prose remains one of her most formidable strengths. Her language is evocative and lush, painting landscapes not only with sight but with scent, sound, and texture. The Highlands come alive in her pages, not as romanticized backdrop, but as place of raw beauty and harsh conditions. A moss-laden forest, icy lochs, and sweeping moors are rendered in prose that is both lyrical and exacting. McConaghy doesn't describe the land as she immerses the reader in it. She also employs fragmented narrative structure, weaving the past and present together with fluidity. The use of nonlinear storytelling allows the emotional core of the novel, particularly in Ty's trauma and the mystery of what happened to Aggie, to unfold gradually. It's technique that could easily feel disjointed in another writer's hands, but McConaghy wields it with precision, using form to echo the fractures of her characters. Thematic depth and emotional resonance at its heart. Wild Dark Shore is about the search for redemption, not only for individual characters but for humanity as a whole. The rewilding project serves as both literal and metaphorical terrain. On the surface, it's an effort to restore species to its native ecosystem. Beneath that, it's plea for harmony and acknowledgement that humans are not separate from nature but part of it. This theme is mirrored in Ty's own struggle. Born with mere touch synesthesia, she physically feels the sensations of others, including animals. Gift that becomes both her superpower and her torment. It's brilliant metaphor for empathy taken to its extreme, and McConaghy uses it to explore the boundaries of compassion, the cost of feeling too much, and the danger of emotional numbness. Ty's relationship with Aggie provides the emotional axis of the story. The bond between these sisters is complex and intimate, shaped by shared history of abuse and survival. Their roles as protector and dependent are tested and redefined throughout the novel, culminating in moments of heart-wrenching clarity. McConaghy does not shy away from the darkness that trauma casts over the human psyche, but she also offers glimmers of hope, healing, and connection. Pacing and plot. The slow burn mystery. While Wild Dark Shore is steeped in ecological themes and emotional introspection, it is also, surprisingly, a mystery novel. Early on, a local farmer is found dead and suspicion swirls around the wolves, as Inti becomes entangled in the investigation and begins fraught romance with the town's sheriff. The stakes escalate. The mystery element is handled with subtlety, adding tension and structure without overshadowing the novel's deeper themes. That said, the pacing may challenge readers accustomed to more action-driven plots. McConaghy prefers slow burn, allowing her characters and themes to simmer. The mystery unfolds gradually, its resolution earned through emotional investment rather than shocking twists. For some, this deliberate pacing might feel too subdued, but for readers willing to sit with the quiet intensity of the narrative, the payoff is deeply rewarding. Character development. Inti's anti-heroine, Inti Flynn, is one of the most compelling protagonists in recent literary fiction. She is not always likable. She can be brash, impulsive, and guarded. But she is always human. Her synesthesia is more than a quirk. It's a defining aspect of her worldview. Her fierce protectiveness of the wolves and her sister speaks to soul driven by justice and survival. Her romance with Duncan, the local sheriff, is fraught tension and tenderness. Unlike typical love stories, their relationship is built on mutual respect and shared sense of duty, not instant chemistry or easy resolution. Its relationship marked by miscommunication and silence as much as connection. An honest portrayal of how trauma can shape intimacy. Other characters, including the silent and broken Aggie, the distrustful locals, and the wolves themselves, are drawn with a nuance. McConaghy resists the urge to stereotype. The townspeople are not villains, but people grappling with fear, history, and livelihoods at stake. The wolves, meanwhile, are neither symbols nor plot devices. They are rendered as living, breathing beings with their own needs and agency. Environmentalism without didacticism, one of the triumph. Wild Dark Shore is its ability to convey urgent ecological messages without preaching. McConaghy does not moralize. Instead, she dramatizes. Through the rewilding project, the tension between conservation and human interest is laid bare. Readers see the fallout of ecological imbalance not through data points, but through emotional stakes. Vanishing species, frayed ecosystems, and the people caught in between. The novel also interrogates humanity's destructive tendencies, not only towards nature, but towards each other. Violence, McConaghy suggests, is part of our inheritance, but so is the capacity for healing and coexistence. The wolves' reintroduction becomes test case only for ecological resilience, but for human redemption. Style, tone, and literary merits. McConaghy's tone is melancholic but never bleak. There's tenderness that underlies even the harshest moments. Her use of sensory detail, emotional insight, and rhythmic prose elevates Wild Dark Shore into the realm of literary fiction while remaining accessible to general readers. Few writers manage to fuse the lyricism of literary novels with the propulsive qualities of genre fiction, but McConaghy excels at this high form. She also avoids easy binaries. The novel is not man versus nature, predator versus prey, or good versus evil. Instead, it exists in the murky in-between, where a predator may also be protector, where women may be both fierce and afraid, where love can be both sanctuary and risk. Final thoughts. Wild Dark Shore is a stunning achievement. Novel that echoes long after the final page. It is a love letter to the natural world and sobering meditation on the wounds we carry, the ones we inflict, and the ones we might still heal. Charlotte McConaghy has established herself as one of the foremost voices in contemporary eco-fiction, and with this novel, she proves that storytelling can be both balm and call to action. For readers of Kingsolver, Richard Powers, and Emily Ain't John Mandel, Wild Dark Shore offers not only compelling narrative but an invitation to feel deeply, to listen closely, and to tread lightly on the world we still have time to save. Rating 5/5.